What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to get a first look, review, and detailed install of Morimoto's brand new Evo XB fog lights. I'll provide some key tips that will make this easy for anyone to install. These fog lights cast an intense, ultra-focused, insanely wide horizontal beam of light. And when I say beam, I mean beam. The lights are tough as nails with a 10-year warranty and provide a massive visual upgrade with a crystal clear, blacked out appearance. Most companies' fog lights are just bright, undirected LEDs placed into existing fog light housings. Morimoto found a way to create a literal block of intense directed light that allows you to see everything around you without blinding people in front of you. These new Evos are sick. I think you guys are gonna really like them. Let's get started. Whenever you get a Morimoto product, you're guaranteed to get it in a cool package. I like the attention to detail, and I appreciate the fact that these are engineered and designed in the United States. Man, when you unbox these Morimotos and compare them to the OEM fogs, it really makes the OEMs look dated. Everything is subdued and dark and stealthy on my truck, so to look down at those old factory fog lights and see the housing, they're all chrome and glass. It just didn't fit the theme of my truck. Nice little added visual upgrade for sure. Very easy install with the right tools. All you're gonna need is a butter knife, which I'll explain later, a pry tool, and a Phillips head screwdriver. First step is to turn the wheel outward. That's just gonna give you some more space to work. Then you're gonna take your pry tool. I'll put a link in the description for this kit that I got. It's pretty short money on Amazon. And you're gonna pry it from the smaller side of the housing, so the side of the light that's closest to the outside of the vehicle. Now we're gonna remove our factory fog light bulb. It's just gonna be a quarter turn counterclockwise, and it will pop right out of the little housing area. Here's a better visual from the outside of the vehicle so you can see. Quarter turn, and it should pop right out. Sometimes these bulbs can be a little tough. Just take your fingernail, put it underneath the clip, give it a little upward pressure, and it should pop right out. Next, you're going to grab your Phillips head screwdriver and remove this screw that is screwed through this little retainer spring. Decompress the spring to remove. Then take your pry tool, and this is kind of the tricky part. Take your pry tool, get underneath that little tab, and grab your butter knife and just put it right there. Just leave it right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to manipulate this from the outside of the vehicle while also giving pressure on the opposite side of the housing holding in the light. That's going to allow the whole light to pop out nice and easy. You can see what I was doing there from the inside. I was just taking the butter knife and pushing against that tab, and that frees it. Otherwise, it will just pop back and forth into both tabs. As you take one out, it will pop into the other one, vice versa. It can be a pain in the neck if you don't figure out a way to keep those tabs both released at the same time. Using the butter knife was a nice little technique that I came up with. Go ahead and steal this little plastic piece. This is where the screw is going to go up through. We're going to take that from the OEM and transfer it over to the Morimoto. You can use the old factory fog light to get a reference just to make sure that you have the right side, but it should be pretty easy to figure out. Also, you're going to know, which side is up and what side is down by looking at the lettering on the lights. Just a little reference point to make sure you're putting everything in correctly. Take that plastic piece, push it through the bottom. You're going to push it through the bottom because that's where the screw is going to go up through. Then just take your wiring, push it back through the hole, and it's really easy. These just kind of pop right back into place. All right, next we're gonna make sure we get the polarity correct before actually buttoning everything down. Just take the wires. There's only one way these can really go, they can go in properly. You'll see they kind of have a flat edge on the outside and a concave side, I guess you could say. So just kind of just have these sitting in. Don't push them all the way through. Just have them sit inside the metal piece. And the only purpose of this is just to make sure that the light turns on and that we have the right polarity. All right, the polarity is good. The fog light is on. That's how we need to keep those wires when we install the provided piece that Morimoto gives us. And not, the piece is basically just like a similar to the factory housing that goes over the electrical components. They just kind of pop right in. You're gonna hear like a very audible clicking pop. Take your time with this part, make sure everything is seated properly, that those pieces are all the way in. Like I said, you're gonna know when they're in. It's gonna have a nice click noise to it. And then we're gonna plug in our Morimotos. Another thing that I want to mention is make sure that that tab goes back over that ridge. That's going to make sure that the factory harness clicks in very nice and snugly to the Morimoto harness. Then just continue on basically in reverse order of installation. You're going to take your spring, put that back in. You're going to get your screw, push it up through the spring. And I actually took that screw and kind of just lined it up with my other hand, with my finger, and I just tightened it up by hand to get it set. And then I sent it all the way home, or just kind of dialed it in to where I thought the original spring was with my screwdriver. But don't get too crazy about it. It's so easy to get to that screw. Wait till it gets dark, get on a nice flat surface, and you can make sure that both Morimoto fog lights are perfectly lined up. I was a little low on the right side, so I just kind of bumped it up. Looking good. Now, getting everything adjusted is pretty easy. If you have an iPhone, you can just pull out your measuring tool, and a lot of people don't even realize that this comes standard with your iPhone. But you can just drop a little pin. You want to go about 25 feet out. So I just measured there 25 feet out from that Connex box. And then you're going to drop another pin, and that next pin is going to be the center of your fog light down to the ground. So for me, it was about 23 inches. Then you're going to measure the top of the beam to the ground. For me, it was about 27 inches. Now, what you're supposed to have basically a 4-inch drop. So I have to adjust those quite a bit down. So for instance, if I measured the center of my fog light to the ground and it was 24 inches, technically the top of the beam on that Connex box should be 20 inches. Now, the first thing you're going to notice when you turn these on for the first time is you're going to be blown away at the degree of view. Basically, you're getting like 180 degrees, maybe a little less. Honestly, if I had to measure it out, if I had to guess, I'd probably say it's like 140-degree angle of view with these fog lights on. When I'm driving, if I look out my side, I see my side mirror, the light is basically just off of the side mirror. So crazy, crazy wide beam pattern. I love that. The other thing that I love is I'm going to show you a little demo here. As I'm backing up and looking at the truck, you can see that the fog lights are on, obviously, but no light is hitting the camera. Normally, if the light is hitting the camera, you're going to see all those artifacts everywhere. But because there's such a nice cutoff on these fog lights, the light is hitting basically like it's basically hitting my knees. And I don't get any of those artifacts until I get way low on the ground. And that should speak volumes. That should kind of give you guys an idea of what kind of beam pattern we're talking about here. It has a great cutoff. The light goes exactly where you want it to go. You don't want your fog lights to be low beams. Your fog lights should be fog lights. Your low beams should be low beams. So your fog lights should have a very wide angle. They should illuminate a very specific area of the road without blinding people in front of you. And that's really what this fog light does best. It has great brightness, great degree viewing angle, and it's not going to annoy people in front of you by just blasting a bunch of light into the back of their window or right into their face as they're coming towards you. I don't want to be that guy. Nobody wants to be that guy. So these are absolutely perfect for that, and they just look good. As you can see, guys, Morimoto has once again killed it and raised the bar up just another level with these Evo XB fog lights. They're amazing. This is something that you'd see come out in like a 2024, 2025 vehicle. It's really cool that as a 2016 F-150 owner, I can pick up some of that new tech and install it on my own vehicle and enjoy it. Don't be that guy that's going down the road blinding everybody because you just got this super bright fog light. Get a professional, clean, nice cutoff, see what you need to see, and don't bother anyone in front of you. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.